Hey, in this episode, a homestead chat. We're going to talk about how kindness is both a curse and a blessing. Yeah, it involves disease, death, and generosity. Good story. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I have a story for you, and it involves death, disease, generosity, kindness, and just overwhelming emotion. But let's get started on the story. Let me get my chickens out here, get them fed. So it was 1979, Arbor Day, South Korea. I was in the U.S. military, in the Army, stationed at Camp Casey. And on Arbor Day, I was offered an opportunity to go out and volunteer. And out of the kindness and generosity of my heart, I wanted to go and plant trees for the peoples of South Korea, because in history prior, a lot of their vegetation was robbed from them from previous wars. And then most recently, where I lived, in the DMZ within 9 miles of North Korea, they had sprayed Agent Orange to defoliate a wide area so the troops could observe movement from North Korea across that demilitarization zone. So with that, going out and planting 100 trees, I was digging holes, putting the trees in the holes. Little did anybody know that the chemical laid latent in the soil, and when I was digging up the soil, I exposed myself to that 43 years ago this coming weekend, because it's Arbor Day coming up. Arbor Day holds a little bit of a curse for me. The story continues. Now I've got to make sure my rabbits are fed and have water. But 21 years ago, this past Sunday, Easter Sunday, the chemical exposure took its toll on my life. I ended up going into cardiac arrest and dying on that day. Luckily, I was having chest pain. No, luckily, but I was having chest pain, and I was in the ER because I recognized the pains going down my arm or heart. You know, I'm 41 years old at the time, and I'm having a heart attack. That's just not right. At that time in our lives, when I had the heart attack, my family and I had my wife and 2 teenage kids. We were actually homeless and living in a travel trailer. It was a horrible time, very stressful time for us. So I ended up having to go in for emergent open heart surgery and recover while homeless in the travel trailer. So I was out of work. We were homeless. I'm dead in the hospital going through open heart surgery. What's a body to do? I had no choice but to put my entire faith in God to help see us through. And there was some times during that event that some kindness and generosity of folks helped us. And I mean, with zero income, we only got food stamps at the time, and that was it. Oh, we got medical coverage through the state because we were poor. So I recovered from the surgery and was still no income, and when you're sick, you can't get a job. So we had no income. So I ended up having to file for a Social Security disability. I hated that. 6 months later, I ended up going into cardiac arrest again 3 times. This is more evidence of the exposure to Agent Orange. Because now the medication that they were giving me to keep me on this side of the grass after the open heart surgery, that medication ended up killing me. So they had to stop all medications, and later we found out that due to the exposure of Agent Orange, I'm now hypersensitive, acutely allergic to a lot of different medications. I now have to carry an EpiPen with me because I'm developing more and more allergies to certain foods as well, which is a bummer. So now I have to deal with that. And once I got better enough and figured out that I can stay on this side of the grass because now I have a pacemaker after repeatedly going into cardiac arrest, 6 months after the open heart surgery, I had to go and I finally went on disability, so we had a little bit of an income and we had health insurance, so that helped. Here you go, ladies. There you go. Now I gotta go feed the boys. Oh wait, I gotta go feed the geese. But I got to the point where I did not want to feel like an invalid. So I asked my doctor to give me release so I can go back to work. And he asked me, what skills do I think I want to do? I had to tell him that, how about if I go get skills in the medical field and I'll work in a department where they have a crash cart. That way, in case something else goes on with me, I'm within steps of that crash cart. He agreed on those conditions. Hold on, the story gets better. I had went and found help with the Oregon Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, and they helped fund training for me, but they teamed up with Job Council of Oregon. So both departments teamed up together on my behalf, and I was able to go out and go to certified nurses aid training, and then that was like a 9-week program to get certified as a nurses aid in the state of Oregon. And then I went into and took phlebotomy courses so I could intern as a phlebotomist also, and I went and took the class in cardiac rhythms technician to really solidify my skills to be able to go to work. I ended up working in the hospital. Yes, I interned as a phlebotomist, found the department I wanted to work in. It was the cardiac department. So I worked on the floor as a bedside nurse for a long time, and with my firsthand experience of going through open heart surgery and going through recovering, I was able to help the patients see in front of them through me an example of overcoming the bad situation of facing open heart surgery, even a pacemaker. So I was good medicine, if you will, just for working in the cardiac department at the hospital I was employed in. But later on in my life, I became a monitor tech and was monitoring heart rhythms and helping maintain health of the patients, keeping them on this side of the grass. Before I did get that job in the hospital, I was trained as a phlebotomist. I went to work for this temp agency, and they sent me on a mission down to Redding, California to draw blood from employees of this business that were doing their annual physical and health check for a company. Anyway, down there, I did something that was out of my control. Something went awry, and they ended up sending me home on the bus. So I'm sitting in the bus depot, feeling sorry for myself because my family's still at home, homeless. We have no place to live. Well, we have the RV, and we're living in free campgrounds and church parking lots, and occasionally, yes, the Walmart parking lot. So while sitting there having my pity party, a gentleman walks in, no shoes and no shirt. He goes up to the bus ticket counter to try to get a ticket to go to White City, Oregon, where they have a VA domiciliary. And apparently VA domiciliary was hosting what they call a stand down, which is a annual event that they have a bunch of tents set up where veterans can come in, get clothes, get a haircut, get their teeth worked on, get medical care, sign up for programs. And so that's what he was trying to get to. I heard his story. The ticket agent wasn't going to give him a ticket because, I mean, the state he was in, he had blood on him. And he came over, sat down, and just put his head in his hands and just started shaking. He didn't know what to do. Poor guy. I heard him. Somebody asked what's going on, and the guy says, well, I had to change buses here at the Reading, but I got robbed and stabbed. And that explains why the blood, no shirt, no shoes, because the hospital sat across the street from the bus depot. And he was transferred to the hospital, stitched up, and because of the wounds, they had to cut his shirt off of him. But the hospital never gave him a shirt or anything to cover himself. They turned him loose out into the environment just like he is. And of course, he had no luggage because it was obviously on the other bus, and when it came up to the Rogue Valley, the Medford area, where he can get a ride from there to White City to get to stand down. So here he was, and it's like, I'm having a pity party. I thought I was having a bad day. And this guy obviously is having a worse day than me. So I picked up my suitcase, I pulled my best shirt out, an extra pair of shoes, and I handed them to him. I gave him socks and handed them to him. Oh, the gratitude, that look on his face, really. I'll never have another pity party again because there's always somebody who's having a worse day than you, always. So he really helped me that day, because he got me out of my pity party and made me realize there's others that need help, even though I gave him out of my abundance, which wasn't much, but I gave him what I could and tried to make his day and give him a leg up. He got his bus ticket once he got the shirt on, and we rode the bus back to Medford, and he was able to go to stand down. But since he told me about stand down, I decided to go check it out myself because I didn't know things were available to me as a veteran. So now, as a result of that information, I went and signed up, got on medical through VA, and got things rolling. And that really helped me out. I didn't know I had those to my advantage. So later on, I went and got a job in the hospital as a CNA, and then just more recently, about 3 years ago, I retired from floor bedside nursing care, and I became a monitor technician. Now here's where things get even blessed. While we were living in our travel trailer, some people we had rented from before found out that we were homeless. Her husband came up and found us at the free campground and told us to move our trailer onto their ranch and stay there rent-free, no strings attached. So I used that opportunity to really help with my own therapy. This was right after open heart surgery and before I even got scales to go back to work. So we were able to establish an anchor, a safe harbor to anchor in for a time while we got back on our feet. Eventually we got on our feet, I got the job, and I was able to buy Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, the house, everything here. I got the land, big blessing, got the land for really cheap, got the house for really cheap because some friends of ours blessed me with a house for really cheap. I only paid 10 grand for the house, but it was perfect. I could do everything myself. By then, I was all recovered. And then it came time for her, well, her husband passed away and she had to sell the place, but she had to get the whole estate, she had to clean it out. So she offered me to go ahead and clean up the estate. So I moved everything over here to my estate, and she ended up blessing me to tears. She gave me a pickup, she gave me an RV, which I in turn blessed to my son, and she gave me the tractor. I could not, I'm so humbled with gratitude for that kindness and that generosity. And we're closing in on the end of the story because there's a new chapter in my life we're getting ready to walk into. I gotta go feed the ducks, but the next chapter in my life has to do with COVID. Because the governor of our state mandated that all healthcare workers must be vaccinated, and that was supported by the President of the United States and upheld by the Supreme Court because of my exposure to Agent Orange and my acute sensitivity, even unto anaphylactic, and I have to carry an EpiPen with me. I cannot get the vaccine. The last vaccine I got was like 4 or 5 years ago, and it caused so much problem and made me really sick. That's when my doctors decided, no, you can't do this. So since I can't get vaccinated, I can't work in the hospital. So the past 6 months, I've been sitting at home on paid medical leave. And that was a blessing right there. Because I fall in the category of Americans with Disabilities Act, they had to maintain my employment somehow, so they're accommodating me and trying to find a position I can work from home at until I reach full retirement age, which isn't until February 2025. However, they're only obligated to keep me on this position for 6 months. Well, that expires at the end of this month. I have an alternative available, which is another blessing. So searching the database daily with the hospital to see if there's any job postings I can work, that I have skills or remotely the skills to be able to do some of those jobs from home. So far nothing has availed itself, so I have to make alternate plans. Plan B is to, well, next month is my birthday and I will be 64 years old, so I could retire 2 years ago. Retire early at 62. Since I'm already on VA medical, that's covered. I'm okay there. But income-wise, we're going to be okay. I just filed for Social Security and collect YouTube payments and live a more frugal life. And just ultimately convince myself, Jerry, it's okay to retire. So in effect, I'm kind of thinking maybe that's what I want to do. So between the farm, I've got plenty to do. And just sit back, relax, count my blessings, but whoa, stop, wait a minute. I'm not the kind of personality that can stand to relax. So I got another role in a movie, and I'm going to be pursuing that and hopefully get more roles and finish a couple of books. I've written 8 books already, and do some more art. Just keep myself busy and occupied. Yeah, and plenty to do in the garden, improving it and trying to getting the whole homestead cleaned up and fixed up and painted and repaired. Well, that's it. The pity party, the death, the resurrection on Easter Sunday. It was quite the journey. Homelessness to Homestead, quite the story. And then helping out a homeless veteran. That event really is, to this day, it chokes me up. It really touches me because I was having that pity party, and then that person presented themselves before me, and it's just like, no. So I count my blessings and no more pity parties. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a frugal homestead, becoming more frugal. Stay tuned to more videos. You could do that by subscribing, then clicking that bell icon. Help us out financially by just sharing our videos on your social media platforms and expanding our viewership so we can get a wider viewer base. We earn revenue through YouTube from the ads that you see. Yes, those ads is where we make money from. Leave a comment if you will. Please always remember, be safe and always be kind. We'll see you guys in the next adventure. Bye-bye now.